Good morning, I'm Nikki Stimson at GBTA Europe Conference here in Brussels, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Nigel O'Donovan, Strategic Manager, Global Enterprise Sales at Taxback International. Morning Nigel, and nice to see you here.
Morning Nikki.
Your first GBTA Europe Conference.
Yes, my first event.
Enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's really good, really good. Great to see all the crowds back, and it's brilliant, yeah, really good.
Fantastic. So lots going on in your world at the moment. Are there any new trends that you're seeing that we should be aware of in the travel and expense VAT Reclaim? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as people would probably know, the VAT world is always ever changing in the T&E Reclaim section. So there's always countries coming on board, and there's always new legislation changing all of the time. What we're seeing, I guess, is Brexit was a massive thing for UK companies claiming out of Europe and European companies claiming from the UK. So all the complexities that had. So the new e-filing service that's been introduced in the UK recently hopefully will alleviate some of that pain, I guess, for companies going into the UK. There's also new countries coming on board, particularly in the Gulf region. You have the likes of Saudi Arabia are introducing a new VAT recovery mechanism. You also have Bahrain and UAE are also introducing there as well. It's not easy to recover from there, but it's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Using a company like ourselves, like Taxback International, to do that for you, that's something that's really possible. But I suppose consumption taxes are a huge source of income for governments, and governments, particularly in the last couple of years with the global stresses of the pandemic and also the war in Ukraine. We can see that governments are, starting to automate more and starting to use technology more, closing the VAT gap, as they call it. So it's ensuring that, and that's having a knock-on effect in the T&E Reclaim as well, which we're seeing. So it's getting over those hurdles and those difficulties that are the ever-changing things that are happening.
Yeah. And so how can corporations ensure that they don't have any VAT reclaim opportunities blocked? Can you help there?
Yeah, well, I suppose the simple answer there is to use Taxback International, but it's to use an expert, it's to use companies like Taxback International. As I said, the claims are being scrutinised now more than ever.
Absolutely.
And we're noticing, particularly that tax offices are really scrutinising claims and making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. So it's to know the legislation in each country, it's to know the eligible expenses, the receipts and invoices that are compliant for VAT recovery, what makes a compliant invoice. And those are not always things that will be on hand in your tax teams, but it's to use a company really like Taxback International to do that for you, that has all that expertise and all that experience of dealing with tax offices all over the world, and are always ahead of the curve, we'll say, in terms of new legislative changes and that. So that would really be the way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard for corporates to keep up with all the changes,
absolutely,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's never ending. It's never ending. Yeah.
So what's the future for T&E Travel and Expense VAT Reclaim?
Yeah, so
what's
I suppose
coming next?
The future is really automation. We're seeing with the B2B e-invoicing through governments closing that VAT gap, that's going to have an initial knock-on effect on the T&E Reclaim because lack of harmonisation across countries. But in time that will get better, and the automation and the technology that's been used should see quicker claims being processed. It should see making it easier for companies to reclaim the VAT that they're owed. So there's huge amounts of money out there that companies are spending on travel and entertainment expenses. So it's that automation is really should make it easier in time once everything's harmonised.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Nigel, for your insights this morning.
Thank you so much.
I'm Nikki Stimson at GBTA European Conference here in Brussels. Thank you so much for tuning in.